So, I recently ran a poll on my Instagram, and I asked for some gaming hot takes, and inevitably Fortnite sucks was one of them, so big surprise there. But I was really curious and asked you guys why you thought Fortnite was a bad game. And something that really caught my eye was the sheer amount of people that answered that Fortnite is a bad game on the basis of its community being too sweaty and being too toxic. And I was really impressed, to say the least, because never was there an argument that actually mentioned the mechanics or something that could actually affect the game itself. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm impressed, but no big surprise. A lot of people don't like Fortnite. So then I was scrolling through my Twitter, and this caught my eye.
Okay, alright guys, watch this. This is the reason why I stopped playing video games right here.
Okay.
People this game has been out for like what, a week? Just 1 week, and people are this try hard at a party game. Like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, why are you doing this to everybody else? People don't learn how to go pro in a game in 1 week, but yet you guys are out here like winning every single, like, it just doesn't make sense, man. You lose the fun in the game once you turn everything so competitive. Like, sometimes people just want to hop on, have a good time with their friends, play around, but next thing they know, they see sweats like this guy, right? Like, winning every single game he plays, and then the game just becomes unfun after like 5 days.
After I saw this, I was like, okay, I'm making a video about this. Because I honestly don't really think this is the reason why people stop playing video games or quit a certain video game. So I would like to point something out, and it is that I personally think the gaming community is very toxic. And I know this is a very generalized image about the gaming community and gaming as a whole, but I do think that there are some people that are genuinely great, and if it wasn't for gaming, I would not know them. Cheers to Game Trigger, who is one of my favorite YouTube channels, Instagram pages, and a great person, so go check him out. So I do know that there is some good in the gaming community. But anyways, back to the point. I don't think that anybody can say that they have never faced toxicity in gaming. And if you have never faced toxicity and you're that one single person, congratulations and give yourself a pat in the back. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Also, here's a clip from Modern Warfare 2 lobbies. Before we get to the following clip, please note that there are racial slurs and other type of slurs that might be offensive to certain groups. So I want to let you know that I do not condone any of this type of behavior. With that said, please proceed with caution.
Racial!
Oh, I'm a fuck. What do you want me to use?
Faggot.
You tell me what you want me to fucking use.
Prestige, you fucking faggot.
Tell me what to fucking use, huh? Tell me what to fucking use, huh?
I don't think I've got to explain myself anymore. Now, I know this doesn't relate at all to the clip of Fall Guys I showed at the beginning of the video, but it is something that people bring up a lot when calling a game bad. And let me get something straight. I don't play a game because of a community. I play a game because I genuinely like it and because I genuinely think it's a great game. I don't care if the community is toxic, because as long as it doesn't personally harm me, why would it make me stop playing a game I like? Honestly, somebody is being toxic to me, I'll just mute them and keep on playing. I can always report them for communication abuse or something like that if they're being racist. So if somebody's being toxic to me, I'll just mute them and keep on playing the game. The only one who will get frustrated is them at the end of the game. So now that I got toxicity out of the way and how I think it doesn't really affect how a game is good or bad, let's get straight into a clip. So straight off, this guy is assimilating the enjoyment of a game to him being able to win. And as I said in a past video, unless you're playing a single player game, there is no way people will try not to win. Something else I'd like to point out is that this guy just happened to be playing the puzzle game like you're supposed to. He learned the mechanics of the puzzle game and he played it as it's supposed to be played. He knows that the longer he stays on top, the lower his chances are to falling down, and the lower he is, the more susceptible he is to losing. So he's playing the game as it's supposed to be played. So calling him too sweaty seems a little bit odd, when all he did was actually play the game. Now, I'm not saying sweats don't exist, don't get me wrong, sweats do exist, and I've experienced sweats at first hand. But calling sweats because they learn the mechanics and are using them in the game in the way they're supposed to be used, I think that's a little bit too far. So I might be crazy, but I think that's genuinely a good player, somebody who learns how to play the game and who implements the game mechanics in order to win. I think that's just a good player in a game. Now, addressing the second part of the video, he says that he stopped playing games because sweats like this guy. And I mean, honestly, man, like, you're kidding me, ain't you? You quit playing games because people learned the mechanics of a game better than you. I do know that on my first video about Fortnite, I did complain about how sweaty the game is. But after I thought about this a lot, I think I was wrong. I think I was genuinely wrong about a couple of things. To start off, if somebody beats me in a game, there can be two reasons. First, he simply outplayed me, he implemented the mechanics better than me, and thus I lost. And second, I might be trying to meme around. Which, if it was the first case, let's get real, they are just a better player in the game than us, and there was always something that we can look back and learn from them. What is happening to Fortnite, which I feel like is a problem to many other online games currently, is skill-based matchmaking. On concept, this is good for any game to successfully introduce new players into the game. But I think it's very poorly executed for some games. Because get this, not every game has the same learning curve, and everybody will go up the curve in a different way. You might be a prodigy in the game and simply blast off to the top, or you might be a little bit slower and take a little more time than the usual or the average player to get to a better point. What I think that happens with skill-based matchmaking is that when you introduce skill-based matchmaking into a game, and you're making potato players play against no-thumb Kevins, they're learning nothing, and their learning curve is gonna plateau. They're not gonna see their opponents do any tactics or play above their skill level, and they're not gonna feel the necessity to actually improve, because they're getting results as expected. So, I know a lot of people are gonna say, oh, but there are YouTube videos about this whole topic and everything. And you're right, YouTube tutorials will help. They are something that I feel like keeps skill-based matchmaking from completely failing. But I feel like they're not as effective as the treatment I got when I was playing Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2. Normally, I would log into this game and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get some kills and and this whole thing. But then a 6-man team joined the other group and they absolutely nuked us over and over and over and over and over in one single match. And those experiences, they did make us rage. They did make us want to throw our controller over the room. But we improved. We really improved. I'm not saying that getting nuked over and over is the only way to improve. But when you get nuked over and over, you really get to appreciate, wow, I suck at this game, and those guys are freaking prodigies. I want to do that to my opponent. Okay, but now let's shift to the other side of the spectrum. If I was to put players on a scale with one being the worst and the other end being the best, what happens is that with games that have a very steep learning curve, is that once you become a little better than average, you're going to be faced against players that are actually really good at the game. Because there is a little amount of players that actually get that far in games. To further enhance on this point, look on the concentration of pros to that of casuals in any game. It is way harder to become good in a game than it is to become bad or to be bad or even average in a game. So skill-based matchmaking is good in paper, but then when it's implemented wrong or the average learning curve of a player for certain games is not taken into account, then it's when it can really fuck the game. I'm not saying that it would kill the game, but I'm saying that people who don't like sweats or people who aren't really good at the game and want a more casual experience should probably try single player games or party games, where may I remind you, in single player games there is no other player in the game in the map, but for you, so you can't complain about sweats. So maybe try that. Now, I know I did go off in a little bit of a tangent right there, but I do feel like it was necessary to explain why sometimes you feel like you're playing in lobbies that are too sweaty for you. And I feel like there are games which this criticism of skill-based matchmaking isn't even valid. I mean, Fall Guys. Take Fall Guys as the perfect example. It's literally a game where you have one thing to do, and if you can't do that single thing, go play freaking single player games. I can't really stress enough about how somebody learning the mechanics of this game is so freaking easy, but actually perfecting them is a little bit harder. And if you're not willing to put the time into it, then simply don't complain about people who actually took the time to learn them. Anyway, if you stuck throughout my whole rant in this video, I thank you a lot. So please be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more uploads like this. Also, be sure to comment down below if you feel like sweats are ruining a game. That's all for today, but I'll see you next time.